Hello YouTube, my name is Stephen and welcome to part 3 of my C1 English Verbs series, where I share with you 10 advanced level verbs to help elevate your English to a C1 level and beyond. The first verb is to forage, and this means to search widely for food, usually in nature. Now, humans can forage for food. For example, if you live in a place where there is lots of fruit on the trees, but usually we use this for animals. For example, the bear foraged in the woods. Number 2 is something that many of us do, and that is to doodle. And this means to draw absent-mindedly. So for example, you are drawing something often when you are listening to somebody talk, for example, in a meeting, or if you are at university, you're listening, you have your notepad and you are drawing shapes and letters. He doodled during the meeting. Number 3 is consult, and this means to seek information from an expert, for example, from a doctor or a lawyer. However, you can also consult a book or a website. The doctor consulted the online journal. Number 4 is appease, and appease means to calm or pacify a person or a group of people, for example, by agreeing with their demands. During the meeting, Ravi managed to appease the board members. Number 5 is a phrasal verb, and it is to catch up with. And this means to talk to someone you haven't seen for a while and find out what they've been doing. For example, Susan caught up with Mary while she was out shopping. Next is the verb to ponder, and this means to think about something carefully, for example, a big decision. And if you have watched part 2 of my C1 Verbs series, you will remember the verb contemplate, and ponder and contemplate are more or less synonyms. For example, Mary pondered her options. Next we have the verb stroke, and this means to move your hand over an animal's fur. John stroked his cat on the sofa. However, stroke can also be a noun, and this is a serious life-threatening condition when the blood is cut off to the brain. Next is prescribe, which in a medical sense is when a doctor orders you to take some medication. The doctor prescribed me some antibiotics. Number 9 is to lounge, and to lounge means to lie down and relax. She lounged outside reading a novel. We also use the word lounge as a noun, and this refers to, in the UK where I'm from, as a living room, and in the USA they would call their lounge their den. Finally, we have glide, which means to move in a graceful, continuous way. For example, the swan glided gracefully across the lake. Okay guys, now I'm going to write a short story using the 10 C1 advanced verbs that you see on screen. These are the verbs we've just learned in this video. Now this is a fantastic way of learning how to use these verbs in context. So let's begin. I was lounging in my living room and doodling in my notepad. So we've used to lounge and we've used to doodle. When I began to ponder my latest problem. So we've used ponder, and then I'm actually going to use a colon and write a question, and this is the problem that I have. How could I save money on my food bill? So that's the problem that I am pondering. I decided to forage for berries in the nearby wood. So we have now used forage. On the way, I caught up with my neighbour. Let's put in a relative clause. Who was angry with me about where I park my car. So we've used catch up with. I managed to appease him, okay, to calm him down. I managed to appease him by agreeing and stroking his cat. So we have now used appease and we've used the word stroke as well. I arrived at the woods and watched some swans glide across the calm lake. So now we've used glide. So all we need to use now is consult and prescribe. I found some berries, but were they edible? I would need to consult my book back home. So we have now used consult. We just have to use prescribe. I hoped they were okay to eat because I was deficient in vitamin C and my doctor had prescribed me some tablets. Hopefully I could solve this problem naturally. Okay guys, let's read this story from the beginning. I was lounging in my living room and doodling in my notepad when I began to ponder my latest problem. How could I save money on my food bill? I decided to forage for berries in the nearby wood. On the way, I caught up with my neighbour, who was angry with me about where I parked my car. I managed to appease him by agreeing and stroking his cat. I arrived at the woods and watched some swans glide across the calm lake. I found some berries, but were they edible? I would need to consult my book back home. I hoped they were okay to eat because I was deficient in vitamin C and my doctor had prescribed me some tablets. Hopefully, I could solve this problem naturally. I hope you have enjoyed this video and that you found it useful. If you did, please give the video a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.